I think Andy Burnham is doing an okay job, and I think he's done a lot of changes, and I think everything he's doing for the country and not for himself. And you can see that in him, and you can see that he's a trier, and he's really trying to make that he's trying to make his reputation good by when he steps down in a few years' time, he'll be known as the person that made a difference. Um, what's your opinion on Andy Burnham?
No, I like what he's done so far. I've always said whether you like the person who's Prime Minister, they'll always do some good, they'll always do some bad. People are always going to moan if they're going to raise taxes, but we all want everything for free. And it annoys me sometimes when everyone says, "Oh, they want this, they want that." We think, "Well, yeah, but how's it going to get paid for?" Just it's some things aren't thought about. But Andy Burnham, as you say, what I've liked is, like you, I don't watch loads of news and stuff, but when I've seen him, he talks very calmly, um, seems very understanding, um, and he's just getting on with it. As you say, he's not making the job about him. He's not making a big fuss about any. I've not really seen big headlines where he's gone after other people in a political way or embarrassing. He's not really got involved in the Nigel Farage scene. He's just got on with what he needs to focus on. So yeah, so far so good. Because a moment ago you just mentioned like he'll be gone in 2 years. Well, if he's doing what he's doing now, well, chances are he'll still be there for another 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a massive chance he will be re-elected again, and I think this is where I believe Nigel Farage knew that they was the
Reform are
country.
starting to lose votes, aren't they? Let's
Yeah,
be honest, they are
be-
starting to lose votes.
because
You know,
people only wanted
even the
Nigel.
Conservatives are overtaking them again now.
Are they?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Oh, they only wanted. I think that people only want Nigel Farage to make politics better, and they with if it wasn't for Nigel Farage, we'd still have Keir Starmer, right? So that's where we've got to look at that aspect where things
So
would.
how did Nigel Farage get rid of Keir Starmer?
So the pressure that was built over time was pushed by the the forward movement, which, in my opinion, was built over time by social media. Nigel Farage, Tommy Robinson, um, and Keir Starmer was adamant that he wanted to stay. But it's only time until people started to see Keir Starmer was a head teacher. He wasn't a prime minister. And I just, yeah, that's just my opinion.
No, to me, I think Keir Starmer's biggest issues were businesses. He tried to drain, um, wasn't connecting the farmer issues, the tax raise issues, and all that. I think that was his biggest downfall, is he just wasn't connecting to businesses, many of the general public. Nigel Farage is one person. Um, you know, yes, obviously he had all the immigration, and you're going to get that. If that's reform, that's what they do. And that's when they ain't got anything else to talk about. They go back to the immigration, how many on the boats. They don't tell you there's actually about 10,000 less this year than there was last year, this time last year. They don't tell you that, but they still go back to it.
Yeah,
And like I said, I want to hear not necessarily about boats from reform. I want to hear other politics. I want to know how they're going to run stuff, which you don't hear. But I think Keir Starmer, I think it's a number of things. Yes, of course, the Nigel Farage effect always does, and he will push. But at the same time, I think for me, it was more Keir Starmer's connection with businesses and the general public as a connection.
Well, you know the the like the laws in Iran and stuff like that, where people are traveling from to come over to this country. Most of them are men, young men at a fighting age. A lot of people don't understand the reason for their movement here, um, and why they come to England. Now, I've got to be careful how I word this, but the people who are travelling from these countries with sheer, like I can't ever say this word, but the law of their country, which gives no rights to women. Um, a few countries now been taken over, and the law has been implemented, which means women can't go to certain colleges, they can't go to university, they can't work, they must wear their burqas, they must stay at home, they can't look at people. Um, I mean, some girls who were going to school have no future. Um, so my question is, if these people were traveling overseas for safety, why don't they send the women and why don't they stay there and fight? Because we can support the women, and we can give them the human rights. Because like we were saying earlier, we're a country of love and passion and respect. But what's happening is there's a lot of shit. Anyway, a build-up of law. I can't say that bloody name. Sorry. That's coming over to the UK, and there is a lot of fear coming from it. I don't think anything's going to come from it, but I do think that this is all planned, right? So everything that's happening with boats and stuff is all planned. It's it was meant to be. If you go back 20, 30 years ago, this has always been something happening slowly. Even in 1990, then Prince Charles was saying how this is going to be a country for Muslims. And it's like, okay, well, that's great. So it is like that. I mean, but the funniest thing is, I'm a fan of Donald Trump, but I understand that people are not. I think Donald Trump's like a Nigel Farage, where he's there to get the job done. He's ruthless. He'll get it done, and then he'll probably either quit or be killed. But I've got a lot of time for Donald Trump. I think he's made America a lot stronger, um, compared to when Biden was there. But he's just told Iran. Let me just double check. I don't want to quote this wrong. Um, right. So Trump says state of Hamas will soon be called territory of the United States. That was on Saturday just gone, which obviously we're filming today. But that's an hour ago that he just said this. Yeah, and he's saying that it's going to be pretty soon that US is going to own Iran. I think that's a good move. If he can own Iran, he's got someone to send everyone to and make it a better country.
What gives him the right to take Iran? Then any other than Iran taking land from Gaza? What's the difference?
I think
Why should he be able to have this because he's Donald Trump or because it's America? What is the difference?
I think it's the I think it is the biggest issue is the West is weak and America's strong, right? And I think
Yeah, but it still don't give you a right. Whether you're stronger, weaker, you still got when you talk about like equal opportunities and equal rights and things like this as a country. We're not going to invade Scotland just because England's might be more financial things. You don't have a right just to say, "Oh, we're bigger than you. We're going to take that land." That's exactly what Ukraine and Putin are fighting about: land. You can't just go in and take it because you're America, because you're bigger, because you're Donald Trump.
Well, I think Donald Trump's gone a long way around it, and he has tried other things. Like,
Donald Trump's gone around it big in a business sense because he's a business person. So a lot of what he says is spoken about in a business way. But he's not. He's prime minister. He's not a business person negotiating the deal. He's the president, not prime minister. Sorry, president negotiating the deal, not the businessman at the head of the table.
top of the table, Roman Reigns.
But
Yeah,
okay, so very quickly, because you just sort of don't mention Donald Trump, and I want to skip over this. What do you think about his two things that also come out this week? One, obviously, we've had the eclipse, which was like, yeah, that was actually really disappointing. Um, he said it's okay to stand looking at the sun. And of course, the other one is the separation of the vaccines, because he says the vaccines cause autism. So he separated them all, and he expects to see reduced people being diagnosed with autism because of it. So he's a scientist, he's a doctor, he wants to go blind. And these are just things he believes. Yes, I say he believes, he might be advised, but he would also be advised, actually, this isn't the case. So he'd always been going with the anti, should we call it.
I think with Donald Trump, he's got he's got a lot of balls, and he doesn't have a filter, and he doesn't know what not to say. And I do think this is going back to COVID when he said to someone, "Oh yeah, just drink some bleach," but he
Mm.
said it as a mock. But it was promoted around the world that he was being serious. Now, I haven't heard these two quotes of which you said about, but I'm going to guess that it was kind of him being serious. But
Oh, it was serious because he signed an order regarding the vaccines to separate them all.
and I think if that's the case, I think there must be something to it, and it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if you look at the increase in mental health in this country, most of it is brought from packaged food. Um, so there's stuff everywhere that causes all different things. I think it's hard to say.
I think what we do is we talk this one further as a separate issue next week,
Sounds like a good idea.
because I completely disagree with you there.
I think it. Let me just think. I don't think it's.
Well, let's just give you a bit of time to do a bit of
Yeah,
research.
I think the autism thing, I think, is not correct because I think it's hard to blame on one thing. I'm on about as a whole thing, every every aspect of food, everything can cause harm. And
Yeah,
I
well, we mentioned
think,
before, didn't we, when we was talking about the environment, like there's loads of plastics in foods and in
yeah,
the oceans that we've probably absorbed, didn't
but I'll
we?
have to
Okay,
look at that, research it, and come back to you next
so
week.
there's one for next week, everybody. So if you want to get involved in that, then lay that in there, put some questions in there, of course, and obviously if you've got want to join it, come along as well.
Some games change your life. This one decides if you deserve to keep it. When ordinary people become prisoners inside the deadliest game ever created, who survives? Who breaks? And who discovers that courage isn't found in violence?
Surviving Anarchy. Available now.